Good afternoon. Welcome to the Board of Barbering and Cosmetology meeting. Before the meeting is called to order, we will play a short video to explain the procedures for this meeting and to explain how members of the public can participate and interact with the board members.
Welcome to the Professional and Vocational Licensing Virtual Board Meeting.
When the meeting begins momentarily, the chair will take a roll call, explain any specific rules for this particular board, and then move to public comment. The name of the board member will appear on the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. For instance, this is board member Y, and this is board member E. Public testimony will be accepted at the beginning of the meeting and before each agenda item. You can indicate that you are ready to testify by clicking on the Raise Hand button being circled by the mouse on your screen now. At the appropriate time, the board will recognize you to speak and ask you to unmute your mic as shown here. Again, public testimony will be accepted at the beginning of the meeting and before each agenda item. Public attendees will not be able to unmute their microphone until recognized by the board. Public attendees who are recognized to testify will be asked to identify themselves by name and their affiliated organization if applicable. Please mute your microphone when you are finished speaking as a courtesy to others and members of the board. Public attendees will not be able to unmute themselves after the testimony is completed unless recognized again after raising their hand. At some point during the meeting, the board may choose to move into executive session. When the board moves into executive session, the board members' microphones and video feeds will be turned off, and a similar screen as you see now will be displayed. When the board returns from executive session, their microphones will be turned on as well as their video cameras.
Welcome again to the Professional and Vocational Licensing Virtual Board Meeting.
At this time, the chair will call the meeting to order and take a roll call, as well as explain any additional rules that may be specific to this board.
Aloha, everyone. To view the meeting and provide oral testimony, please use the link at the top of the agenda. You'll be asked to enter your name. The board requests that you enter your full name, but you may use a pseudonym and other identifier if you wish to remain anonymous. You will also be asked for an email address. You may fill in the field with any email format, example, name@email.com. Your microphone will be automatically muted. When the chairperson asks for public testimony, you may click the raised hand button found on your Zoom screen to indicate that you wish to testify about the agenda item. The chairperson will individually enable each testifier to unmute their microphone. When recognized by the chairperson, please unmute your microphone before speaking and mute your microphone after you finish speaking. For phone access, if you cannot get internet access, you may get audio-only access by calling the Zoom number listed at the top of the agenda. Upon dialing the number, you will be prompted to enter the meeting ID, which is also listed at the top of the agenda. After entering the meeting, you will be asked to either enter your panelist number or wait to be admitted into the meeting. You will not have a panelist number, so please wait until you are admitted into the meeting. When the chairperson asks for public testimony, you may indicate you want to testify by entering star and then the number 9 on your phone keypad. After entering star and the number 9, your voice prompt will let you know that the host of the meeting has been notified. When recognized by the chair, you may unmute yourself by pressing star then the number 6 on your phone. The voice prompt will let you know that you're unmuted. Once you are finished speaking, please enter star and then the number 6 to mute yourself. For both internet and phone access, when testifying, you will be asked to identify yourself and the organization, if any, that you represent. Each testifier will be limited to 5 minutes of testimony per agenda item. If connection to the meeting is lost for more than 30 minutes, the meeting will be continued on a specific date and time. For this information will be provided on the board's website. Okay. I will now take roll call. Members, when I call your name, please respond with present or here. And if you are joining remotely, indicate if there is anyone at your location. Leslie Murata.
Present and alone.
Michael Basta Jr.,
Present and alone.
Ashley Cornelio,
Present and alone.
Leo Williams,
Present and alone.
and Irene Hall am present and alone. Okay, I'm calling this meeting to order at 12:09 p.m. Well, welcome, Leo.
Leo Williams is a new board member that was just recently appointed, and so we're very excited that he's here to help us run the meetings and be a part.
Yay.
Okay. May I have a motion to amend the agenda to remove item BI Gabriel Warren as her application was added inadvertently and does not require board discussion? Can I have someone motion, or I motion? Can I have a
Motion to
second?
second. Yeah, motion to second.
Okay, so that was Raynette Hall, and is that Michael that seconded? Or was it Leslie?
Leo, whatever.
Leo.
Leo,
Leo.
oh, that's why I didn't recognize the voice yet. Okay, thank you.
Okay. On to, are we moving on?
No, well, no, you've got a motion in a second, you
Oh.
have to vote.
Okay, sorry.
It's okay.
Can I, or all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I
Okay. Moving on to item number 2, approval of June 3rd, 2025 public session minutes. Is there anyone who would like to provide testimony on agenda item 2?
Thank you, Chair. This is Johnny. We do not have anyone requesting to provide testimony.
Are there any questions or amendments to the public session minutes of June 3rd, 2025? I don't have any. Okay.
I may have a question.
Yeah,
You know, I wasn't part of the board at this time, but there was an issue that I might wanted to bring back up. So, but it's a previous meeting, and would this be just to close the minutes, and you would bring it up at a later date? Or
Yes,
do
at
you
this
talk
point,
about
we're just
previous meeting?
yeah, so at this point, we're just approving the minutes for content.
Right.
So if you were watching the video and you saw that something's incorrect that was stated, you
Okay,
can make that correction, but if it's something you want to address, you would need
that
to
would be a different
have
issue.
that put on a later agenda.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right, I second to close the meeting. I mean, the agenda.
Okay. All in favor? Aye.
I
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. On to item number 3. I love this word, adjudicatory matters. Is there anyone who would like to provide testimony on agenda item 3?
Thank you, Chair. We do not have anyone requesting to provide testimony.
Okay, the board will recess to discuss adjudicatory matters.
So at this time, we're going to have to ask our guests to step back out to the second door and take a seat, and we'll call you when we're finished with this part of the agenda.
Is everyone back?
Not yet.
Okay.
I explained that we're back in open session, we're going to ask for testimony and then go into executive. They said they just wait because they don't have any testimony.
Okay, so we're on agenda item 4. Is there anyone who would like to provide testimony on item 4?
Thank you, Chair. We have a raised hand from Nicole.
Okay,
Hello, Chair and board members. My name is Nicole Fraley. I emailed over some testimony on August 7th, just inquiring about the status of my application for hairstylist, and wanted to see what I could do to get my license approved.
Good afternoon, Nicole. Unfortunately, you weren't able to be added to the agenda for this meeting, but so we can't discuss, the board is unable to discuss your application at this time.
Okay.
I think the best thing would be if you send an email to the Barber Cosmetology inbox, I can find out what information you would like to know and hopefully we can set you up on that if you need to show up for another meeting.
Okay. Yeah, I would be happy to do that. I have been emailing that email and I haven't really been successful at getting any responses.
Yeah, I'm sorry, like I'd like to be able to address it but we can't discuss it right now on the for the agenda.
Okay.
So we will reach out to you. You said you sent an email on what date? August what?
Last week, Thursday the 7th.
Okay, great. We'll find that email in our inbox and we'll respond to you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair, we don't have any more raised hands.
okay. May I have a motion to enter into executive session pursuant to Hawaii Revised Statutes 92-5A1 and 92-5A4 to consider and evaluate personal information relating to individuals applying for professional or vocational license cited in section 26-9 or both, and to consult with the board's attorney on questions and issues pertaining to the board's powers, duties, privileges, immunities, and liabilities. Can I get a second? Okay. Does anyone have any objections or abstentions? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna move us into a private room. And when we're done, we'll come back to public and make our motions.
Is everyone back?
Yes.
Okay. Ashley. Yeah,
You're still muted, Ashley.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I motion to move Sandy Lee in for licensure via exam waiver. I motion to approve Lomino Massage School Inc., DBA Lomino Hawaii Aesthetic School pending submittal of additional documentation. And I motion to approve the ratification list.
I second.
Go ahead, Les.
Oh, I second the motion.
Okay. Does anyone have any objections or abstentions? No. Okay. All in favor? Aye.
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 Okay. Moving on to agenda number 5, new business. Is there anyone who would like to provide testimony on agenda item 5A?
Thank you, Chair. We do not have anyone requesting to provide testimony.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve RICO Barbering and Cosmetology Advisory Committee members list of effective January 1, 2026, and any additional interim appointees that RICO deems necessary to aid in its investigations?
I make that motion to approve.
Okay, I'll second. Does anyone have any objections or abstentions? No. All in favor? Aye.
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 Please do not continue
Aye.
conversations. Please stop. We're having technical difficulties. Just please mute yourselves. Johnny, please put up the technical difficulty sign. And we'll get back to you as soon as we can get the technical difficulty resolved. Thank you. Please stay on mute. Johnny?
Yes.
Okay. Sign's still up, Johnny.
Our audio should be unmuted right
Johnny, are you having difficulty taking down the slide?
Oh, I didn't know. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Chair Hall, could you let us know if you can see us and hear us?
Yes.
Okay, I think that we can call the meeting back to order. It is 1:14 PM. We apologize for the technical difficulties.
So are we starting from new business again?
Yeah, would you go ahead and ask, let me look where we were at.
We were voting.
Had we already had testimony for agenda item 5A?
There was no one.
There was no testimony. Okay, then go ahead and call for the vote then.
Okay.
Oh, wait,
So
I'm sorry, someone in the room has testimony. For 5A?
I apologize. I'm B.
Oh, you're B, okay,
5B.
all right, no
Apologies.
testimony, it's okay.
okay, so all in favor for the RICO Advisory Committee members, all in favor?
Wait,
Oh.
I'm sorry, who vote? I don't have written down a motion or a second.
Oh, I motioned.
Okay, you motioned,
I second.
okay.
And then
Now
I did ask, does anyone have any objections or abstentions, and no one responded. So all in favor, aye.
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 Ashley, you're
Aye.
muted.
Aye.
Okay. Now on to 5B, instructor training, the Skin Institute International. Is there anyone who would like to provide testimony for agenda item 5B?
Thank you, Chair. We do not have anyone requesting to provide testimony.
we have testimony in the room, Chair. Ms. Rono, if you can sit if you'd like, or you can stand, whichever best for you. Okay.
So I've told all the attendees in the room, thank you so much for the voluntary work that they do for the board. So I want to tell you that we do appreciate you because we know it's a volunteer position. So thank you. So I'm Mary Rano from the Skin Institute International. And back in May 2nd of this year, we sent out an email. And so I also have copies for people in the room. Do you need additional copies?
We all have copies of your letter and your email.
And my apologies, it's not dated, but it should have a date on it of May 2nd, 2025. So if you could just briefly read that email, then I won't rain on you because it kind of covers everything. So if you could just briefly review that.
So Miss Renault's email to you.
I can make the highlights if everybody's gonna review it.
I think they did not receive your email. They received a copy of the letter.
Right,
Yeah,
that's right.
yeah. So, yeah. Okay, go ahead if you have testimony that you'd like to.
So I'll just take about 5 more of your minutes. And so we have an ongoing challenge of getting enough instructors. And our program is very thorough, very sophisticated. We have small classes. And so our classes are very personalized instruction. And we have an approved, state-approved instructor training program that's 600 hours. What we are asking is, could it be either or? What we have a problem with is we have these, we'll find a beautiful, intelligent, really capable student that's gone through our aesthetics program who wants to be an instructor. And then if she goes out and has to get a year's worth of instruction, then a year's worth of experience, then we lost her. And so we would request, like many other states, that you just change one little word instead of a year's worth of experience and a 600-hour instructor training program. We would request that the rule be changed. I don't know if it's a rule or a statute, I apologize, to say a year's worth of experience in the field or the formal 600-hour instructor program. And that would really help us. So I've got a little handout for the attendees in the room. And that is the California code, the Utah code, the Nevada code, the Arizona code. That say either or. Also, we would be open to an apprenticeship program of a 1,200-hour approved instructor apprenticeship program. That would be okay with us, but we were informed recently by the DCCA that no apprenticeship program exists for instructor license in Hawaii. But we'd be eager to entertain that. So does anybody have any questions for me? There has been instances where we have interviewed licensed instructors here in the state, and we've said, do you know how to do microdermabrasion? And they say no. Do you know how to do light glycolic peels? No. Do you know how to do ultrasound treatments? No.
Okay, so to address if we can change the 600 hours of board approved instruction and at least 1 year of beauty operator experience, that is statutory. And I believe we talked to you a year or so ago when you had another agenda item before the board that this would take a statutory change through the legislature. And that still stands. This board cannot change the statute without legislative approval. Some of the items that you've mentioned, dermabrasion and ultrasound, the board has not made a final determination on those. If you'll recall, before the COVID pandemic, I believe you and some other folks were here doing some treatments, some examples showing the board how these services worked, how these procedures happened. And at that time, the board deferred decision, and it remains outside the scope of practice of their licensees. That has not gotten back onto a board agenda. We've been busy with with more, with things that came up that were more into immediacy. I know folks want to get that back on the agenda so we can look at some of those scope of practice questions. But currently dermabrasion and ultrasound and lasers, many of those things still remain outside the scope of practice for this board's licensees. So I have that list of things people want to talk about, and I'm trying to get them back on the board agenda. But at this time, the board would be unable to grant your request for an apprenticeship or 600 hours of instruction or a year's experience, because it is a statutory requirement and that the board cannot grant a waiver. They don't have the authority to do that.
Well, what about an approved 1,200-hour instructor apprenticeship program?
So again, that would take a statutory change to the requirements. Right now, HRS 439A6 states that to become a beauty instructor, you're going to do 600 hours of coursework instruction and have 1 year of beauty operator experience. There's no mention of apprenticeship, so the board can't create it without legislative authority to do so.
Okay, well, thank you.
You know, you never know unless you ask. That's true.
Right. So just, some of those things that we demonstrated years ago
Yes.
were way more invasive than just microdermabrasion.
Yeah. Yeah, I know plasma pen. There were several items, and that is on the list of things we have to get back to that the board is deferring decision on. It's just we've had several. We've not had any short meetings since after COVID, so we know we have to get back to looking at some of those scope of practice questions, and if there's things that have updated since then, and if you'd like to send us a list of things that you believe the board should look at, I'm happy to put that on the list of items.
I will, and if I can offer any expertise or guidance with that, I'm happy to, because there are certain things that are very superficial.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you coming in.
Okay. That was the only person for agenda 5B. Is there anyone who would like to provide testimony for agenda 5C? The email from Roseanne Propato, Corrections Education Program Manager, Hawaii Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation.
Thank you, Chair. We do not have anyone requesting to provide testimony.
Okay, thank you, Johnny. Chair, we do have someone in the room that would like to present some information. You can stand or sit, whatever is easiest for you.
I guess it's okay to stand. Hi, everyone. I'm Roseanne Propato. I also thank you for adding me to your agenda after the email I have been sending. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with all of you. A little bit about what I do quickly. I am the Education Program Manager for the Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation, which my responsibility is to provide the programs while those incarcerated are spending time in our custody and care. And so we have a lot of work to do. We have limited number of programs, and I've been spending my time as I came into this position, finding out where the areas of interest are, where people have talents, what are they doing, what would they like to see themselves doing upon their release. And just so you're aware, the majority of people who come into our custody, they are returned to the community, and we want them to be able to have opportunities where they can earn a living wage, where they are doing something that is productive and that will help the community. And that's what they want to do too, ultimately. I really do believe that. I see our students as being very motivated and very interested in learning and doing things differently. And so it makes me passionate about the work that I do. And I come to you and just appeal because I've been going to Honolulu Community College. So I work state agency to state agency. Most of the time we have culinary arts program, we have a carpentry pre-apprenticeship, we have some programs. And actually our population will jump at anything that I put out there. But what I'm trying to do is actually have enough opportunities that people can be intentional in the programs that they're joining and really think like, yeah, this is the career that I would see myself in, right? And I have actually gained the support of the wardens at both the Women's Community Correctional Center and at Palava Correctional Center, where they have places that would be perfect for a training for cosmetology or barbering. And so we kind of have that down on our side. And as far as then working with the community, like I was saying, we work with the community colleges often because we can have an MOA with them. Although there are other avenues and I could work with other people who provide training as well. That my goal is to have the training count for something, for it to lead to this licensing or certification. Because right now, actually, especially at Palava prison, the guys have the opportunity and they do the barbering. They're cutting each other's hair. There's not an ACO or a deaf person who does that for them. So we know that there's talent there. And the issue for me is, if they are doing those things, why can't we, if we have them under the supervision of an instructor, actually earn the credits of doing that? All they have is time, and when they're released, they do need to start working usually right away. They don't really have the extra time to be doing the schooling part at that point. And so when I speak to HONCC, they say it's not even something we can consider because you're not a licensed site. You're not a place that could offer training. And so that's what led me to my initial email to say, can we become a licensed site? Or how can we do this in a way where our people could be formally trained and earn the credits for doing that? Other states do it. There's at least 10 states that have barbering for incarcerated people. Their training can be done while they're inside. In some states, they actually do the licensing while they're inside as well. I'm just saying, even if we could just have them earning the hours and come out and continue for the licensing as much as we possibly can. That's really what my ask is today. And I thank you for your time and opportunity.
So we are excited that you want to provide this opportunity. The way the board's statutes are written, it appears that it would be difficult for us to help you accomplish what you want. We can license a cosmetology school, but the Department of Education has to license a barber school. So we couldn't help you with the licensed barber school. That would be the Department of Education. Our schools require that besides the equipment and the library, the principal, for every 25 students, there has to be two, for the first 25 students, there have to be 2 instructors. And then instructors added for each 25 students that come along. For apprenticeships, it's one-on-one. So one licensed barber can apprentice one apprentice. They can supervise one apprentice. But the way the rules are written is it has to happen in a licensed shop. So I would like to see a way we could assist you, but the way our rules are written currently, I think it would be difficult for us to move forward. The place of incarceration would have to get licensed as a shop. So you'd have to have a floor plan, you'd have to have a operator in charge, you'd have to have specific equipment. And then you could only apprentice one person per one trainee, right? Trainer, one trainee per one trainer. And then again, for a school, you'd have to have at least 2 instructors that are assigned to the school. These are, I don't want to say obstacles, They're challenges, they're challenges that we would have to find a way to work with the Department of Corrections. Maybe an idea would be, rather than trying to get people into the prison, is to see how you get your guest, your inmates, your folks out into the schools that already exist. We have a barber school here on Oahu. We have several beauty operator schools. I don't know if they're minimum security prisoners, perhaps they could get out to attend the school there. So those hours would count. Is there anyone on the board that might have some ideas of how we can work with the Department of Corrections to make this something that's feasible, that the hours and what they're learning actually count? Because we can't count hours prior to someone being registered with the board as an apprentice. So anybody have any ideas, or
I think.
Oh, I'm sorry. Would you like to provide your name, please?
Travis Bodie.
Travis Bodie.
The idea that we're trying to do is to have them, while they're incarcerated, have something to look forward to when they get out. So by the time they finish their, whatever time they have incarcerated, they can come out and, start working. I'm a proud graduate of Hawaii Institute, and I know Leo very well. And Leo was my mentor back in 2006 when I started barbering. And barbering changed my life. Barbering, I didn't know where I was gonna end up. I didn't know what kind of occupation I wanted, and I decided to go to school. And I'm glad that I went to Hawaii Institute, and I learned everything, and I give all the praise to Leo. And I want to share what I learned from the school with these inmates. I want to give them the opportunity to change their life, because not every one of these inmates are able-bodied to do construction, or they want to work in an office, and I think by giving them this opportunity while incarcerated, they'll have something to look forward to, and it'll help the community. I truly believe that by giving them this chance, when they come out, they're gonna be better, they'll be more successful, and the turnover rate of them going back to prison is gonna be better.
Sorry, what was your name again?
Travis Bodie.
Travis. So would you be the one teaching them?
Yes.
So since Carrie asked, is there any suggestions? Is there someplace in Halava that you guys can create an actual barbershop and you just become?
And I'm waiting on the blueprints, actually. I already asked all of those. I figured I was looking into what's required.
Right.
And so we do have the area, but I'm waiting on the blueprints from the facility.
So you're on the right path then. You're gonna create a barbershop.
If I need to write a bill for Ledge, I will do that. I don't know what's required, what you guys are okay with, but I'm happy to go to Ledge and testify there as well.
Would she have to go to legislature if she created a barbershop or beauty shop in their location and then had their licensee who's right there working?
So for apprenticeships in a shop, it's still one-on-one. So
At Halava, we're thinking 4 students at a time. And so I'm telling you that because when you're saying 25, like, we can't do that in correction.
Right.
It's gonna be a small program,
So that might be where some statutory language needs to be addressed, because right now if you're doing instructors and students, the instructor has to be a licensed instructor. It has to be done in a school. It has to be 2 teachers for up to 25 people.
And that's specifically for beauty schools.
That's for a beauty school. The barber school, you'd have to speak to the Department of Education, what their requirements are. If you were looking to do an apprenticeship program, then you could open a shop rather than a school. But then you would need, the way the statute is written, it's one-on-one, 1-to-1. And I'm sure that would take a really long time. Plus, they're required to work a minimum of 20 hours. And then you'd have to see if they're an apprentice, technically you got to work with Department of Labor because they're supposed to be compensated for their hours of work. How you're gonna, you know, and I believe that's minimum wage. I don't
think the
know.
apprenticeship would happen on the outside. What I'm looking for is training for hours that count.
Okay, well, apprenticeship hours count, so that's why
So
you're,
that's the difference.
I'm saying that both instruction in a school counts or an apprenticeship hours count. They're double hours as an apprentice rather than going to school.
It would be harder to get that many hours, like, and one-on-one.
Right,
inside.
right. So for beauty schools, this is the entity to work with. If you're looking at barber schools, you need to be discussing this with the Department of Education because we're not,
As our
Overdose.
statutes are, it doesn't say that a person can't have, you know, they can't meet the requirements to open a school. Yeah, there's no limitation that says that. But they would, the barbering side of getting that school approved would be through whatever,
Through the DOE.
yeah.
And
whatever
so
the-
at Women's, they want to do cosmetology.
right.
And we have also an area for that, and they're also getting me the blueprints. In fact, they sent me blueprints, but it's like for such a huge, I don't know which area they're talking about. But anyway, we're working on that. And so that might be a possibility for them. And then with the DOE, I know Travis has talked to someone there as well. So we might be on the right track with all of that. What I do want to just make sure is that we are aware of what the requirements are and that if we have your support in going forward, I would like, you know, to know that, you know, if I have questions or whatever, that I know who to go to and that I'm following all of the steps that are required so that we can do it properly. And even if that includes legislation.
Okay. Yes, the board, you can reach out to Alan or myself about the requirements for a school. And it sounds like if you only want to do 4 students at a time, it's going to be hard to have 2 instructors. So that may require some sort of
It might be
statutory change.
funny, but I have people who are really interested in working with us.
Okay.
And people who are already there in the facility, some of them, like we have a chaplain who's a cosmetologist.
Okay.
So.
So yeah,
we're kind of
so
lucky that way.
so as we spoke to Ms. Renault in the previous agenda item, the instructor has to have an instructor license, not just a beauty operator license if they're going to work in a school. So is there anything else the board would like to say? Because it sounds like it might be something that we can take out of the meeting and just help them with the requirements of a school and what they may need to do. But is there any suggestions or advice or just anything you'd like to say to our guests?
Good luck. I wish you luck with this.
Thank you.
It's something the board would not be disapproving of. The more people we can get licensed and the more people in the profession, the board is for that. We just want to make sure people are properly trained and are competent when they go out and do that. And the more we can help people get rehabilitated and have a career path when they are released, we're in favor of that.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And like you, I would like it to be equitable. Like as far as whatever you're doing outside, we have to do it inside. I want it to be, you know, accredited and I want everyone to actually have that opportunity that they would. Just that I feel like they could use their time effectively while they're inside so that then they can get out and actually start putting it.
Sounds good. And we can work outside the meeting. One last thing I would be remiss not to say right up front, this would help your inmates exponentially, not only for this, if this is what they're interested in, but other careers as well. This board does require high school equivalency education. So if they can work on their GED while they're in, that would also be helpful for them when they get out.
Okay, I'm doing that already, so thank you.
Great, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Have a great day.
Appreciate your time.
Hey, Leo. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Does anybody else don't have video of the conference room? Or is it just me?
Did we lose video?
No, I think they have the sound on one and then their screen on another. So if you swipe right, you can see them. Or, you know, swipe your screen, you can see everybody.
Yeah, no, I'm not getting that. You can see them, yeah?
Yeah, I can see them. I can see everybody if
Okay.
you're on a certain screen.
Well, you can see everyone at the conference room or everyone who's online at the conference room. Yeah, whatever reason, and I didn't touch the screen, it just came back like this. So
the camera's not on.
I think they were
Okay.
having an echo with both the camera sound.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, it's not the end of the world.
On the
Just-
top right, change your view and you can see the conference room.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
if you
Okay,
have
I
the
got you.
primary speaker
got you.
view up, it'll focus on where the sound, whoever's speaking, and that's why it's shifting away from the conference room view.
Yeah, so in the conference room view, it just says Queen, you know. Okay, let me see here. Okay. Let me see gallery, multi-speaker gallery.
Okay.
No, I just have a little picture, but that's it.
We're gonna try something here real fast. While we're working on that, Chair Hall, do you mind going ahead with the next agenda item?
Sure. So we are moving on to agenda 5D, PSI testing fees. Is there anyone who would like to provide testimony on agenda item 5D?
Thank you, Chair. We do not have anyone requesting to provide testimony.
Okay, Carrie, could you provide us with that information?
Sure will. At the last meeting, the board took a vote to change our testing administrator from Prometric to PSI Services. Prometric was charging candidates $95 for the exam. From PSI would like to charge $95 for the exam.
90.
Yeah, Prometric was 90 and PSI would like to charge $95. I did go back to 2011 looking for the last time we changed the fees and I could not find anything. So it's been $90 at least since 2010, maybe longer than that. And of course, cost of everything's gone up since 2011. But it is, fees are decided upon between the testing administrator and the board. So I'm bringing it to the board's attention if you would like to take a vote to approve the $95 with PSI.
The fact that you can take it more often is a benefit, right? They can take it at more places.
Yeah, there'll be more locations with PSI.
I motion to approve the $95 and anyone second?
Second.
Any objections or abstentions? No. Do we vote?
Yeah.
Okay, all in favor for the $95 fee? Aye.
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 Thank you, everyone. I appreciate that.
Moving on to item 5E, temporary permits for out-of-state licensees. Is there anyone who would like to provide testimony on 5E?
Thank you, Chair. We do not have anyone requesting to provide testimony.
Okay, so I do, since I'm bringing this to the board because I created a rough draft because we were considering the compact. And the reason I hesitate with the compact is just because of maintaining Hawaii specific licensing standards. That was sort of where I came from. So my thought process is that we would have we would allow licensed cosmetologists from other states to work under the supervision of a Hawaii licensed salon owner for up to 12 months while waiting to.
Chair Hall? Would
Yes.
this be a good time for us to put that slide up for everyone?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Yeah. So Johnny, we sent you that slide that the chair is addressing. Could you put that up for everyone to see?
Yeah, I have that.
Can everyone see that?
I can see that, yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, Chair. I apologize.
No, perfect. So right now, currently out-of-state cosmetologists kind of have to wait a long time for their exams or get approved to even be waived for their license. So what I was thinking was this creates an income gap for them and staffing shortages for salons. The sponsorship would allow them to work under a licensed salon, and the salon would take on the responsibility, the salon owner would take on the responsibility for that person until they were approved to an out-of-state license or a waived license, or even taking the exam. Because just like when you graduate from schools, you are allowed 1 year permit to continue working to pass your test. So if we could allow that for incoming stylists, so we would, like it says here, eligibility, you must have an active cosmetology license from another US state or territory and have applied for a Hawaii license. The sponsorship would be a Hawaii license sponsor or salon owner agrees to supervise. The supervision is the sponsor is designated licensed professional must be on site. So they're not working alone. So this way they're keeping under the state laws. And there would be, the orientation would be the cosmetologist would have to know the Hawaii laws and sanitations before starting. And you would be limited to 1 year, just like with, or you'd have to come before the board. Again, this is a rough draft. The benefits to this is people moving here suddenly because their husband or their wife had to move and their situation is now in Hawaii. They can work immediately and then learn the rules, study, and get their license. And for the salons, for those of us who want to hire people, but they don't have their license here, it would allow us to get them working and build a clientele for that year. And then clients would be safer because the salon owner would be managing this person. And then this allows the board to kind of, you know, we don't have to get phone call, or the office doesn't have to get a ton of phone calls. When is my license coming in? When is it? Or when am I approved? When is this? When is that? That's basically my thought. If we could get this into legislature, correct, Carrie? Is that how we would have to go through legislature with this? They're muted now.
There you go. Okay,
There
sorry
you
about
go.
that. Sorry about that. Yeah, so because there's no provision for this in the statute currently, this is something that would have to go through the legislature to get it added to our statute.
And if anybody has any improvements to what I have here.
I have a comment.
Sure.
I have a comment. So the reason that the board has to review each applicant individually is because each individual situation is different. So, you know, we have 50 states, you've got different regulatory procedures. You could have a license from a state that changed your licensure to 600 hours, and you can come here and you can work for a year, and then, you know, each one has to be looked at. I'll give you an example. I don't know if Alaska even has a licensure. They might have a certificate. So you could just come down and say, oh, you know, we're going to skip this process. I get to go straight to work, and then I'll deal with it later. You know, that's what the whole stop sign of looking at documentation is for. That's why we're here at these meetings. Right.
I'm not saying stop looking at them, but at least the board could say, yeah, you get your permit. You know, like just like in the schools.
But you get, you're saying that, no, you're saying bypass the board, give them a permit.
That wasn't my intention.
Well, that's how I read it.
My thing.
How do you?
So that's what I'm saying. This was just a rough draft. I'm not.
Okay, so let's just say someone comes from out of state, right? And I have a license, and I go and I fill out my application with the board for reciprocity or transfer of license. But you're saying that, oh, okay, now you can just go to work under a salon without any recognition of the documentation.
No, they would have to have a license from another place, another
Well,
state or
you're saying
territory.
just based on the application, they can skip the byproduct, they can bypass it passing for 12 months. So, you know, even if it was not a proper documentation, and at the end of the conclusion after 2 months, you say, oh, you know what, you did not properly acquire this license, you know, to meet up to state standards, or so on and so forth. There's no, yeah, you're saying you don't have to look at that. You can work for 12 months until we look at the standards. That's what you're trying to say.
No,
right?
until they can, so that they can pass the test. This is just so that they can come in. They would have to take the
examination.
Take the examination. Just like when you graduate, you have to take the examination within a year. But this allows them to work while they're waiting to take the examination. Because at the time when we were thinking about this, we weren't with PSI, so the option to take the test was not close. There wasn't open slots every month. It was like every quarter you could take it, I think. I don't remember specifically, but that's where this came in.
So my question now is, if you graduated or you have a license and you come to the state, you apply for a temporary permit. Everyone applies for that temporary permit. Is that not correct?
No, some people don't apply for it, but it's an option to apply for it.
Yeah, so they already have that. They can already apply for the temporary permit.
We have that? I didn't even know we had that.
Yeah, that's already done. I thought you were asking for, you know.
The current temporary permit setup, when applicants submit an application, there's an additional temporary permit that they can apply for at the same time. That includes an additional fee. They're granted the temporary permit subject to them meeting eligibility to sit for examination first before they actually get that permit. And so they're allowed, once that they're approved for examination, they can work under that temporary permit until they pass.
Yeah, you already have that. It already
Then
exists.
why are we considering going into the compact if we already have that?
Exactly.
Because
I honestly didn't know we
the
had that.
DoD funded that. That's why, guys.
There's also the stipulation that Carrie would know exactly, but generally you're only allowed a single use of the permit for, like, you can't just reapply and start the clock over again once that permit runs out. And so if someone were
Well, that's just like when you graduate school, your 1 year license is, your 1 year permit is done. You got to either pass the test or you won't work.
Yes.
Well, yeah, once you graduate the school and you apply and you've been approved for the exam, then you can have the temporary permit for a year. I think the holdup on the temporary permit is the temporary permit is not issued until you've been approved for exam. The holdup for a lot of people is they can't get all their documentation in to get approved for the exam. For whatever reason, they have a lot of
improper documentation.
Incomplete documentation usually.
Yeah, there's a lot of variation between what documentation people have and what they think we're asking for. And the communication barrier on that tends to hold up the process.
Oh, that changes my whole view on the compact, because I honestly thought we didn't have this program. I didn't know we had the permit. So
the compact, I think, essentially was reciprocity with member states. I thought that's what it was.
Yes.
Okay. So it wasn't a matter of a temporary permit. It was just a matter of, getting reciprocity.
Well, it was more than reciprocity. If the way the compact is set up is if your state is a compact state and you have a license in Hawaii as a compact state, and Oklahoma is a compact state, you can get a multi-state license that allows you to work in both Hawaii and Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Without further testing, without further anything, because they're both members of the compact.
Yeah, they put it on the shelf though, so it's not even an issue for.
But they can apply for a temporary permit waiting for reciprocity, correct?
I don't like to use the term reciprocity because we do not have reciprocity. They can apply for a temporary permit while we review their experience and or training in another state.
Okay.
But they can they only get the temporary permit after they've been approved for the exam. If they don't have to take the exam, they just get a license. But if they have to take the exam, they can have the temporary permit for up to 1 year.
Okay, then
Move on to the next agenda.
yeah, move on to the next one because that's what I thought was needed, but I had no idea we had a permit already.
Oh,
So-
okay. So you're just gonna withdraw your idea?
Well, because we already have one in place.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Chair, were you also, in reference to this, were you taking into consideration like the federal guidelines for the military spouse? The application process is that for that as well?
But for federal,
I know that's another issue. I'm just wondering if that was the original.
No, she was only thinking in terms of the compact.
Oh, okay, okay.
yeah.
Okay.
And I know the compact was for many military spouses or military working cosmetologists, but you're able to work at any base. When you're on base, you can work anywhere, no matter what, as long as you have your license somewhere. If you're in the military or your spouse is in the military, that's what I was told. So if they want to work in Hawaii, they work on base. Correct?
Well, there's a whole portability of licensure through the federal government now that they can get their license. Military personnel and or military spouses can get a license fairly easily through the Portability of Professional Licenses Act. So that's another discussion.
Yeah, so-
not on the agenda. So
Yeah, we can move on then.
okay.
Okay, so on to agenda item 6, old business. Is there anyone who would like to provide testimony for 6A, Honolulu Community College request for work study, cooperative education program for the cosmetology student?
Thank you, Chair. We do not have anyone requesting to provide testimony.
Oh. Okay.
Les, your son's not here.
No, he's here.
Okay.
The people, according to the paperwork is into what do you call it?
Updated fact sheets.
Yeah, so the
The
last
student
time,
time sheet, right? That's what he
Yeah.
was asked to turn in the last time, you know?
yeah,
I'll go check outside.
so the three, there was actually 4 documents they were asked to resubmit. Those are the first 4 items on your packet. The student times sheet, the cooperative education agreement, the student self-evaluation, and the supervisor's evaluation. We had asked them to remove all references of assisting the licensed people in the shop. So they've changed it. It looks like they've changed it to limiting to set up the station, select and organize perm rods, tools, monitor time, clean up station. It looks like it appears they've taken out the part where they were assisting the licensee, which is what we asked them to take out. So those are those first documents in the packet are the last update from June of this year.
Okay.
So, Mr. Williams, just to bring you up to speed, I did include the minutes of the last meeting when we discussed this. Honolulu Community College is requesting,
Yeah, I'm up to date. I went through everything and I read everything.
oh, okay. Okay, good.
Yeah, I did a thorough read.
Awesome.
I just had a couple of things, but I don't know if I want to add anything and slow the boat even more. But the limiting, because I've worked many years with the board in the prior years, and I know it takes a long time to actually get something through. It looks to me like a field trip, unescorted field trip. That's what it, you know, you're gonna go to the distributor class, and when they get to the distributor, they call us and take attendance or whatever. It just looks like, and that to me was a school by school thing, for the school to determine whatever safety risks or standards. Uh, just it's they said that they want to do it once a week. Is there a limit to the unlimited field trip?
So this would actually be, if I understand Honolulu Community College's proposal, this would be senior students that would be assigned to a shop where they would go, trying to remember what I read, on a weekly basis.
Right, a weekly basis,
several
one day
days
a week. Right, but what would you consider a senior student in a degree granting cosmetology program? Would you consider that their third year? Cosmetology, you have math, science, English. Is this their final month? Is this their final year? What are the limits? How many field trips? I mean, how many out of school education? Because this isn't not in school, it's out of school. So I was just saying, is there a limit? I didn't see any limit to the number of hours that they can acquire.
I'm trying to find where we discussed that information in our previous meetings.
I mean, it looks like they want to do 5 hours per week. And the 75 hours of work per semester, so at least 15 weeks per semester of this program.
Yeah,
Okay,
so that wasn't senior.
So I'm
what's the
sorry, I don't have the page number, but it's their letter to us dated September 2024. Second page. Give me a moment, I'll tell you what page that's on for you.
Page 23 of
54 of the packet. The program, this is paragraph 1, 2, 3, 4. The program would be offered only to eligible students that have successfully completed with a B grade or higher at least 1,200 hours of training in the school. The student would also have to pass an interview and be accepted by the salon. So they would have had to have completed at least 1,200 hours at the school before they would be eligible for this program. So cosmetology is 1,800 hours in a school, so they'd have to complete 1,200 of those 1,800 hours before they could engage in this, be a part of this program.
The program would only, it would only give a certain category.
Okay, and then I had a question. This question, and I'm not opposed to this. Our school would never do this. We're an accredited institution. Our accrediting board would never allow it. But I'm not opposed to other schools doing this, and I think it would benefit students to have outside visual of field trips and so on and so forth. The definition of a student is an in-school education. Is that a gray sentence?
That's one of the things I brought up at the, when this was first proposed. The board determined that they would like to look further at the proposal.
Well, I'm looking at the definition of student. Is that a law? Is it something for the attorney to look at? Because when you're in school, you're in school. When you're in a shop, you're in a shop. For example, a shop cannot conduct a paid class to the public. That would be a school. It would have to be done through a school.
The statute right now for 439A2 definition of beauty student means a person enrolled in a beauty school who is learning to be a beauty operator and while learning assists in any of the practices of cosmetology.
Yeah, but I think he's discussing where student.
Education is, right?
Student.
Where is that defined?
I read definition as
this would be 439A2 under definitions as used in this chapter. A beauty student means a person enrolled in a beauty school who is learning to be a beauty operator. That's what
Yeah, but there's that's not.
all right. So when I look up laws, I still get 439 and 438.
Yeah,
A is not implemented, correct?
no, 439A was implemented in July 2022. 438 and 439 are repealed.
And then how to, yeah, but you can
So-
still print them off the internet.
But not from our board website.
Oh.
So
Yeah, that was my question. So that would be clear that it doesn't have to be in school, the education,
they have to be enrolled in the school.
just enroll.
I think the reason that the board, it took so long is because the statute says, a person has to be licensed either as, licensee or as apprentice, and otherwise you can't practice in barbering cosmetology. So when they're looking at this, you guys are making sure that these students are not practicing or assisting in the practice of barbering cosmetology. All they're
Yeah.
really doing is doing kind of like office work.
Visiting.
Yeah, like that wouldn't require any apprentice license, that wouldn't require any other beauty operator license, because they're not assisting or doing anything in the practice of.
When they first came, they wanted they wanted the students to learn retail management.
Yeah, I think
Because they are not allowed to sell retail in the class. They have to go to the bookstore on campus, and the students can't work in the bookstore. So that's why we had them take everything out. They're not supposed, even the assisting of, what they changed it to. I know they did what we asked them to, which was.
Right, but visiting a salon and a field trip as an observer and working for them, where they would be either an apprentice or paid minimum wage to be a receptionist. Yeah, are you giving free receptionists, or are they visitors of the salon? If they're visitors of the salon, anyone can do that at any time. Anyone can visit a salon and watch and stay there.
Determining whether the school, whether they'll get credit.
That's not a law.
Yeah, whether this is something.
Yeah,
that-
it's Well, the school would determine the field trip credit.
Well,
Yeah, the
it's
school-
not field trip. They expect them to be doing things while they're there.
It's a class.
It's part of their classwork. They're giving them
assignments.
Yeah, this is it's an assignment, for lack of a better term. It's they say it's to provide them on the job experience. They go to the shop and do an interview for interview experience. They are, we asked them where they put the, think they can earn up to 8 credits as part of their schooling by doing this. So that was the board's, when they first came to us, the question was, if they're a student, why are they going out to a shop? Because the shop is for apprentices. And then they said, well, there's these things they can't do at our school because of the way our rules are set up. They can't do retail work. And at first they wanted them basically to do kind of receptionist retail stuff. And now it's kind of,
It's morphed into more.
It's a little bit more than what they first brought to us. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you guys are writing a book.
When they first came, I honestly thought it was for management and retail. And so the assisting with hair coloring, permanent waving, and even the assisting with manicures, that's what you do at school.
Right.
Not when you're going to learn management and retail. And their whole thing when they first came was retail and because their store is at the bookstore. It got a lot bigger from when they first came.
You know, if you look at the task, you know, it outlines, you know, pretty well what they're doing. You know, for the most part, they're observing. I think the idea was for them to be in the salon and get a real feel for what it's like to be in the business, almost like behind the scenes, but without actually touching anything. I mean, if you look at the following task, you know, related to hair coloring, is basically set up station, hand product to a stylist. You know, this is the type of thing that our business, I think, really needs is to build this, because you know, a huge percentage of the people who go to school wind up not going into it. And even more people wind up not going into a salon. So if we can legitimize or find some way to make these connections and bring them into the profession, this is going to benefit everybody. I mean,
was there a limit? Yeah. Was there a limit to the number of students that would be in the room?
Well, originally,
the student. The way I understood it was they would have to go and interview at a salon that the school had vetted the salon. So I don't think they're looking at more than one student at one salon. I could be wrong, but it didn't seem like there'd be like multiple students at a salon.
I do like the fact that they get to go in and observe.
and we're building relationships as well. I mean, you know, that's what we need to do. I mean, the pool to draw from now, and you know, we're a traditional salon, or you know, we don't lease stations or rent stations, and you know, frankly, it's it's very difficult, finding stylists.
Right.
So many
So-
people.
Right. What they would say, we're gonna send a student to you. It's just like a job interview. You feel them out a little bit, and you could wind up future employment. I can see the benefits. I can see the benefits. It's just, is this part of a school's program? I know it would benefit a student because they would already get employed as soon as they graduate, or not get employed because then the employer will know that they're not the right fit. Yeah, I mean, I can see it. I wouldn't, I'm not, our school doesn't do it, but I don't see it as not a benefit. It's just whether or not you know how many hours you would give someone for that. How many hours do you need per salon?
Okay, so
And how many students per salon? That would be the question.
so a student can earn up to 8 hours for one semester for another semester in this program.
Credit hours.
Well, it was 8 hours a week.
That's what it's, yeah. So it's 8 hours per semester?
In their transcript, this program would reflect at most 8 credit hours, but not reflect their.
Do you have that page number?
Oh, no, credit hours are different. Credit hours are yeah, a credit hour could be a 1 credit hour can be 10 hours. Yeah, a credit hour is different from actual hours. Yeah. So someone can have 3 credit hours and that would equal 9 hours. It depends what they consider a credit hour. So you would have to ask the school. So they're saying 8 credit hours, which is, I like their document said, 7 hours a week for their senior program or semester. We can ask, what's the limit on hours if you want, but, or not.
I think on page 21 from our previous board meetings in November, Miss Aki confirmed 45 hours for the entire semester. So that is their 8 credit hours for school is 45 hours in the shop. That's what it looks like.
One more question. Is this an approval for all schools, or is this each school has to ask for this type of approval?
This is specific to Honolulu Community College. They are the school requesting this.
So if an
People wanted
esthetician
to do it,
school,
they would have to show us their program.
and then it would be voted on the board. That's good.
Are you okay with 45 hours, Leo?
I mean, I would be okay with it. I'll be okay with whatever HCC feels fit, but I just wanted it clear. Clear what their goals were for the student. They have summer programs that their school is closed during the summer. Yeah, I don't exactly know what their scheduling is.
So Carrie, if we were to approve this, when you send it back, does that, when you let them know, they have to state that it's 45 hours per student in their last semester?
Or maximum? You say maximum?
So they have already submitted everything. So
Right.
whatever they put in this documentation.
But they don't have it in the documentation. Oh, they have it in our agenda, like in our meeting notes that it was 45. Do they have it stated? I didn't see 45 hours in there.
That's what I'm looking for now. I'm looking to see what their documentation says.
Their front page 2 says 75 hours. So the information we got from Miss Aki was maybe a little conflicting.
So these would be the
Unless
hours
they,
worked. That's not necessarily the amount of credit they're getting at the school. Right? So the student timesheet is 75 hours, but that's not necessarily what the school's offering them. You got to go look at the school program. That's just the number of hours they can work at the shop. So their cooperative program their cooperative education school documentation starts on page 35 of 54. This is the information that they would be giving the students. This is the information that would base the hours on. So
on page 44 of 54 in their course syllabus for the cooperative education. If you look at their student learning outcomes, the bullet point 1 for job placement, a student will obtain a position with a company that is related to his or her major and perform a minimum of 75 hours of work per semester for each credit.
So how many semesters are there after you hit 1,200 hours?
there's only 600 hours left. Should be
So
two. These are senior students.
So what this is stating, if they were to make it, yeah, this. It doesn't say senior students on this.
So they have to have a minimum of 1,200 hours. So for Honolulu Community College, once you hit 1,200 hours, you're a senior student in this program. Because you only have 600 hours to go.
Is that possible? How do you raise hands so a person can talk?
There's a raise hand button that you hit.
It should be under react.
React.
Reactions.
Oh, okay.
Chair Kevin Murata from Honolulu Community College has his hand raised. Would you like to?
Yes, let him in.
Good afternoon, board. So sorry, I had a hard time getting in to speak. So everything I've heard you guys say so far is all true. So what's happening is once a student reaches their 1,200 hours, that is their last semester with us, which is their 3rd semester. So that's the beginning of their semester. And what this cooperative program will allow selected students is to just kind of go and just be in a salon, and just like what Michael Boster Jr. was saying, just to experience what it is to be in a salon. So yes, they are not going to work on people. They will get retail experience. They will get working behind a front desk experience. And yes, it is true that we had to take away our retail space in our student salon because our school doesn't allow that. They need to, anyone that buys anything on our campus needs to go through the bookstore. So we were just kind of finding other ways that our students could get more experience outside of, or that they're not getting within our school, or just give them more of an idea of what it is to really be in a salon. So the 75 hours would be part of their last semester. And that is they will be receiving one credit for that class or that cooperative class.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a maximum of 75 hours?
Oh yeah, that's all they can get.
On your paper, it says complete a minimum of 75 hours. On page 45 of 54.
Okay.
Over the
The way
semester,
that
you
this,
will need to
the way
complete a
that the
minimum.
semester works, they could only get 75.
And would that be once a week?
Once a week, yep, depending on when the salon would like the student to be there. Usually it Fridays was one of the days that we were thinking about.
And what would the number of students that you would allow to be in the salon?
Just one per salon.
Is that a maximum?
I'm sorry?
Is that a maximum?
Yes, maximum one per, yeah.
What do you estimate the number of students that would participate in this?
I would say anywhere
Approximately.
between 3 to 5 students only.
I mean, of the
That
entire
would be
student body?
interested. Well, each semester we take in is only 25 or less. So we would be extremely selective. So if we're looking at a class of 25 and only 3 of them really qualify, then those are the 3 students that we would allow. So they would still have to go through a qualification process that we stated in those documents through us anyway, with grades, with attendance, with conduct. And then also they would have to interview with us first before they actually can join this cooperative program.
Right.
And then once we vet them, then whatever salon has asked to be a part of the cooperative program, we would ask them, okay, so we have these students. You can interview them, and if you want them to participate in this, to participate in this program for your salon, then by all means, we can go ahead and send them to you. But they would also have to go through an interview process with the salon and the salon owner.
And you have 4 semesters a
3.
year? 3 semesters a year.
600 hours each semester. So no summer programs, no winter programs, just 3 semesters.
Does your school offer online training?
No.
All right, thank you. I have no more questions.
Okay, thank you. So the reason why Jess Aki had brought this up to the board in the very beginning was, well, just to make sure, of course, that we do everything legally, right? And making sure that the board approves this, of course. But also too is because our cooperative educational program that's on campus at HCC had reached out to us and asked us, hey, do you guys want to be a part of this? Or what kind of things do we need to do to get this program going for you guys and things like that. So that was kind of like where we were coming from. And then of course, going through the board, we've found some obstacles, especially in our documentation and the verbiage that we had put into the documents and things like that. I think we've changed everything that needed to be changed. I mean, if there's anything else that we need to change, we will change it.
Well, sorry. Can I question again?
Sure.
These were the documents. So if you would document maximum 1 student per salon, the hours, maximum, change it from minimum to maximum. And your vetting process to, to qualify. You have a qualification process, meaning a B grade or so on and so forth.
Correct.
An application to apply.
So your ask is to change the minimum to maximum and then a maximum of 1 student per.
I'm not asking. I'm questioning. If it's a question to you, I have to take it to the board, and then they have to go to a meeting before they would ask you. I was just asking if you would. Yeah.
Yes, of course, if that's what the board is asking, yes.
Right.
Are your instructors going to monitor, and make sure that the students aren't being taken advantage of at these salons where they're not just being used to be assistants?
Yeah, like a gopher and things like that, yes.
Okay, because I want them to experience everything, and I think it's a great idea.
Well,
I just don't want it.
We had this program going years ago, but when our cooperative education program was revamped, this is the reason why we went back to you guys last year about this. But it was approved many years ago. I mean, like I think in the early 2000s or 90s when we were part of this. But we couldn't find documentation of it being approved by the board, but apparently it was.
Yeah. Times are different now, but
yeah,
I do remember. There would be an instructor listed for the student. So although they're not in a class, they would be in a class with an instructor in charge.
Correct.
It's not self-documentation. It would
No.
still go to the teacher, and then the teacher would document it.
Correct. And then we would be in constant communication with the salon also.
The instructor would.
Yes.
Not the school. Are you a licensed instructor?
Yes, I am. I teach at
Okay.
ACC.
You would be the instructor.
Not me personally, but whatever teacher is in charge or instructors in charge of that cooperative program, yes, they would be.
Yeah, and it would be one of their students in their class.
Correct.
Any other questions?
Can
we move to a closed session?
You want to move to executive session?
Yes.
Do you have a question for our attorney?
Potential.
Yeah, if you have a question for me, then we can go into executive session.
Or if not, well, yeah, I would need it through the attorney.
Okay. So is that a motion to move into executive session then, Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Okay, I'll second. All in favor to go into executive session? Aye.
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 Okay, seeing no objections, we'll move into a private room for executive session. We're all back, Chair.
Okay, so I motioned to approve Honolulu Community College request for work study program in the cosmetology student. Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, does anyone have any objections or abstentions? All in favor? Aye.
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 Okay, moving on to old business, 6B is the use of Genio X Elite system 6 watts, which includes a microdermabrasion massager applicator and an optional RF applicator within the scope of practice of the board licensee. Is there anyone who would like to provide testimony on section B or 6B?
Thank you, Chair. We do not have anyone requesting to provide testimony.
Chair, I apologize. After our meeting last month, I left on vacation for several weeks. At our last meeting, we said that in order for us to move forward with this radio frequency question, we should speak to a licensed esthetician. I have not done that. Did anyone else reach out to a licensed esthetician to discuss the radio frequency question on this? We may want to defer this to our next meeting.
Okay, so motion to defer.
If no one else spoke, if no one else spoke to an esthetician, yeah.
No
Okay.
motion, and we can just defer.
Just defer
Okay.
the option.
So we're deferring this one to the next meeting, is that correct?
Yes, I apologize.
Who should be doing more research on this product?
Yeah, maybe a board member could volunteer to do more research on the product.
I did research on this. I did do research. It's a vibratory instrument. I did not talk to a licensed esthetician who uses the machine.
Yeah, so
I have a licensed esthetician in my salon. I will talk with her.
okay, thank
Does she use the machine?
She has a lot of machines. I will go and ask her, and she's always up to date on stuff, so she can give me information or someone who can.
Okay, so just a reminder, the board in a previously the board, not this group of the board, but the board, determined that they're not going to make a decision on a machine, on a piece of equipment. So our question is this radio frequency, this low radio frequency, something the board will approve that this machine uses? Because our rules, our previous determinations have always said that radio frequency is outside the scope if it uses a radio frequency. So that's really the question. What is this radio frequency? What does it mean that it's FDA approved? Is this something that is safe for the public, or are we going below the epidermis level of the skin? If it goes below the
Right, that's what I
epidermis
looked
level
up. Yeah, so I was looking up radio frequency, not the machine.
So those are the questions you want to speak to the esthetician
Okay.
about. So we can work on that, but yeah, so that would be great. Thank you, Raynette, for taking the lead on that.
Okay. And then moving on to item 6C, discussion on continuing to accept NIC exam following conversion to PSI examination. Is there anyone who would like to provide testimony on agenda 6C?
Thank you, Chair. We do not have anyone requesting to provide testimony.
Carrie, can you review that for us?
Yeah, sure. At our last meeting, the board determined to change our testing administrator from Prometric to PSI. Because PSI does not wish to offer the NIC, the board also voted to change from the NIC exam to the PSI national exam. My question for the board is, because we didn't move from the NIC because we didn't like the test, there was no deficiency in the test, we moved for expediency reasons. When we begin to administer the PSI national exam, will we continue to accept NIC scores as well from out-of-state folks, right? So I'm licensed in California. California offers the NIC. I passed with a 75 or greater. Do I also have to come back and take the PSI national exam? Or are we happy to still accept NIC scores?
I think we should accept NIC. If we would have continued, the only reason we didn't continue was because of the amount of testing they were giving.
Okay.
As long as their testing stays at the same level and it doesn't drop, you know, in my opinion, I would keep taking it.
Right, and I bring it to the board because it is the board that determines what tests or what test scores we accept. And so I wanted to verify that the board was okay to continue accepting the NIC after we changed to the PSI. So we would, new applicants would take the PSI national exam once we change over. But if it's someone's licensed elsewhere and has already taken the NIC with our minimum score, we would be happy to still accept those, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that something that the board would have to
Vote on?
review when they come? Or is that something you guys can just say, okay, they have the NIC, they're good?
That's what the vote's for, so that we would know what you want us to do. So if we're happy with the NIC is still a great exam. We're not changing because the exam is faulty. We're changing for expediency, so we can offer the test in more locations and.
I move to vote. I say yay.
Okay.
Lower the meetings.
I second the motion.
Move on, yes.
Is there
Get
any
these people licensed.
objections? Is there any objections or abstentions to continuing accepting NIC? No. All in favor? Aye.
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 Okay.
We want to defer number 8.
I think so. Given the time, I have had a little bird whisper in my ear, after we do agenda item 7, if we'd like to defer 8. But let's do number 7 first, and then we'll discuss.
Okay, number 7 is the executive officer report. Is anyone there? Is there anyone who would like to provide testimony for agenda item 7?
Thank you, Chair. We do not have anyone requesting to provide testimony.
Okay, Alan, you're up.
All right, for the month of May for examinations, we had 2 barbers examined. 1 candidate passed, 1 candidate failed. 19 cosmetologists examined, 9 passed, 10 failed. 50 estheticians examined, 24 passed, 26 failed. 3 hairdressers examined, 1 passed, 2 failed. 0 instructors examined. 18 male technicians examined, with 3 passed and 15 failed. What is the ELE?
Don't do that. That's another board.
Oh, okay. So overall, for the month of May, 92 candidates examined, 38 passed, 54 failed. In the month of June, 9 barber candidates examined, 5 passed, 4 failed. 11 cosmetologist candidates examined, 6 passed, 5 failed. 35 esthetician candidates examined, 22 passed, 13 failed. 6 hairdresser candidates examined, with 4 passing and 2 failed. 4 instructors examined, with 3 passing and 1 failed. 22 nail technicians examined, with 8 passing and 14 failed. Overall, that's 87 candidates examined, 48 passed, with 39 failures. And that concludes the examinations result.
Okay, and so moving on to defer number 8.
Well, it's 3 o'clock. You guys are working very hard, and you probably want to be on the top of your game when we do rules, so.
Okay, so we're deferring section 8 or item number 8 and on to number 9. Our next meeting is November 18th, 2025 at 12 o'clock. And the meeting is adjourned at 3:02 p.m.
Thank you, everyone.
All
Thank
right,
you.
thank you.
Thank you.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.